Hello everyone, this is Fantasy Ask and welcome back to Vampire Clan in ClanGen, the Warrior Cats clan generator game. When we left off in the previous episode, we had our leader fall into a pit trap, which was very, very dramatic. Thankfully, he managed to get away from it or be accompanied back by his patrol, but he now has a mangled leg. Things are looking a little bit dire for him because he is quite far along in age, and I don't actually know if him potentially dying from this injury is going to be like the first and final death he has. It's going to take all of his lives, because it is very possible. And I think now that he has personally, for the first time actually, been affected to this degree, he's actually never lost a life ever from the wars that he has caused. But I think because this is the first time he's been affected, Shivering Star is maybe starting to think a little bit about his life decisions leading up to this point and really what he has gotten himself into. Maybe less what he's putting the rest of the clan through, but more himself. His family, his entire family, if you think about it, has been affected by this. He lost his mate because of the war, he lost his daughter because of the war, and then he lost his other daughter. Not exactly because of the war, but, I think that a lot of what happened, the stresses and such, probably led up to it. I think she died from a snake bite. But still, if the war hadn't been a thing, at least he would have had maybe Songkit growing up. She would have been by his side, his mate would have been by his side, you never know. And because he, I think, kept getting away from this unscathed, it was hard for him to maybe resolve that the outcomes for some of the cats were due to his actions, but now that he himself has been affected by the war, it's hard to kind of blame it on bad luck, and maybe he started thinking that he's made mistakes along the way. Now he can acknowledge that yes, he has made mistakes along the way. But okay, let us continue with this episode. We are at Moon 41. This is our final turn of Greenleaf. Now, let's quickly check in with the Leaders Den. We have neutrality with Gosma Clan and hostilities with Wind Clan and Day Clan. Let's see what our cats are up to. Grandmaster Shivering Star isn't sure what to think of the whole war situation with Day Clan anymore as it develops further. So there we go. He is rethinking his choices and what he has gotten the clan into and how he feels about the wars. Maybe the excitement and the kind of sense of, vengeance he had towards the vampire hunters in his younger days, when he wasn't really attached to anyone else, he didn't have any family members. It was very different to how he thinks of things now. Blue Jay has gotten fleas. Blue Jay, once more. Light Song finally feels back to normal after the strain of birthing a litter, which is excellent. So we have one of our Mistwalkers kind of back with the others. And if I'm looking at it over here, aside from Shivering Star, who's got the mangled leg, everyone is in good spirits and able to go out and do things, which is wonderful. Also, really quickly, I feel like I didn't give attention to Burnleaf when he aged up, but guys, Burnleaf is a senior, and I know we've already probably gotten used to this sprite of his, but it keeps coming to my mind that I should point it out, but then I keep forgetting because we're used to it now. But a few moons ago, I think 5 episodes ago, he turned into a senior and his sprite changed, and I don't know what else happened 5 moons ago, but I think we had some other age ups, and I was more focused on them rather than Burnleaf himself. So Burnleaf, I'm so sorry, but yes, he is a senior now, a very adorable looking senior. And our youngsters, our fledglings are at 10 moons old right now, and our kittens are at 3 moons old, so they're still kind of, going along with their training. But let's go ahead and jump to the Medicine Cat Den. Shivering Star, Grandmaster Shivering Star, was given Tansy as treatment for mangled leg. Light Song was given Ragwort as treatment for recovering from birth, and now she feels better. Hazel Pelt gathered Elder Leaves, Catmint, Oak Leaves, and Goldenrod this moon. That's a lot. That's a big hole. Let's take a look at our relationships to see what's been going on here. Bluejay is rethinking how she feels about Twilight Fade and gives him another chance. Okay. The clan has noticed Bluejay and Fawnpaw are smiling at each other more today. Master Burnleaf stops and thinks before assuming the worst of his daughter Owlfeather. Okay, there we go. When Master Burnleaf approached Owlfeather, she made a weird face. So suppose father-daughter in this context, they don't get along well. I wonder if Owlfeather, I mean, we know she despises Shivering Star for creating this illusion that the deaths in her family, like her sister's death, was her parents' fault and not Shivering Star's fault. But I wonder if Owlfeather also almost looks down on her father for not recognizing that it's an illusion and for kind of drowning in his guilt over something that wasn't his fault. I think she had hoped that he was better than that. Twilight Fade was woken up early by Ibispaw. Pinepaw is talking to Twilight Fade, but he can't stop noticing the mud on Pinepaw's pelt. Twilight Fade and Lightsong have been sickeningly lovey-dovey all day. Look at that. Twilight Fade is so attentive to Lightsong. A little bit different, I think, to what we noticed between Hazelpelt and Quiet Flight. After Quiet Flight gave birth, I think Hazelpelt's focus shifted more, maybe not intentionally, but to the kittens. Whereas Twilight Fade and Lightsong, it seems as though they're going quite strong. And I mean, I can kind of see Twilight Fade being a really doting sort of mate, especially because Lightsong is so much younger than him, and they already have that bond from beforehand. Master Burnleaf motivated Grandmaster Shivering Star to get out of his nest this morning. Yeah, maybe Shivering Star is feeling a bit discouraged with his mangled leg. Like this injury he has right now is very serious and something he's never faced before. It was easy to kind of tell the other cats to get a move on, we need Mistwalkers for the war, you're not supposed to be sick or injured. But when it's himself, obviously it's a different case, right? Grandmaster Shivering Star, Sunnytail, and Hazelpelt took a sunbath and had a little small talk. Grandmaster Shivering Star accuses Hazelpelt of not taking care of cats properly. I wonder if Shivering Star is blaming the Nightstalker a little bit because he wants to get better quickly, and Hazelpelt is maybe telling him that it's not how things work. It's going to take some time for you to get better. And even then, you know, I can't guarantee anything, but I'm going to try my best. And Shivering Star is maybe lashing out and saying that if Hazelpelt can't cure Shivering Star, then Hazelpelt doesn't know how to do his job at all. Lightsong talks with Quiet Flight about some clan drama. No doubt they're talking about what happened between Shivering Star and Hazelpelt, because Hazelpelt is Quiet Flight's mate. Wolfkit does something that makes Lightsong's day a little happier. Oh, that's so cute. That's adorable. Quiet Flight nearly tripped but was caught by Sunnytail. Quiet Flight gets a bunch of cats up for morning stretches. They don't like it. Bloomkit compliments Quiet Flight's name. Hazelpelt and Twilight Fade find out they have the same favorite prey. Hazelpelt finds fault in everything Bloomkit does. Hazelpelt had a disagreement with Quiet Flight over kits. Okay, we were just talking about how they had grown apart a little bit more, or gotten occupied with other things after they had kittens, and once more it seems Hazelpelt and Quiet Flight, yeah, they're having a disagreement over maybe how the youngsters are being trained. Owlfeather thinks clanmates talk more highly of Bloomkit than her. Owlfeather is gossiping with Bluejay about Grandmaster Shivering Star. Sunnytail spend some time with Bluejay, and they both end up understanding each other a little better, so some mother-son bonding over here. Some things have been rough for Twilight Fade lately, but Pinepaw admires his willingness to go on. Ibispaw knows that Owlfeather would be saved before her during an emergency. Master Burnleaf, keeps making excuses about something Fawnpaw wants to know. Oh, they've gotten typically along quite well, but this is the first time that Burnleaf is not answering Fawnpaw's questions. Maybe Fawnpaw was asking about Fire Ivy. Maybe someone made a comment about maybe the way Burnleaf acts around Fawnpaw because he's trying to fulfill the aspirations he had for his daughter, who looked quite similar to Fawnpaw. And maybe Fawnpaw was asking about her, but Burnleaf doesn't want to talk about it, so he keeps making excuses. Wolfkit loses in a race against Owlfeather. and acts bitterly about it. And then Bloomkit is still a little hurt by Pinepaw, but wants to try and make amends. Okay, so that's all we have for events. Let me cut the recording here and we'll continue with the cat list. Okay, let's continue with the cat list. So first up, we have loyalties, where nothing at all has changed, so everything is pretty much the same. In terms of relationships, there was only one thing that I noticed which stuck out to me, and it was with Quiet Flight. So if we head over to Quiet Flight, it was definitely with her. Yes. So Quiet Flight, we know, has been enemies with Lightsong for a while. And she finally has a green bar with Lightsong. And it's in this platonic love that she has for her, despite the fact that they're enemies. And I think the way I'm interpreting this is that Quiet Flight has gotten used to Lightsong being there constantly, being a rival of sorts, and she's become emotionally attached to Lightsong's presence. Even though they are still enemies, I would consider them enemies with, something a bit more there, rather than them being friends, which has grown resentful over time because she had the red bar before she had the green bar, so the enemyship is not going away. Especially because from Lightsong's end, she only considers Quiet Flight an enemy. She doesn't have any romance for her, no green bar, no nothing. But from Quiet Flight's end, it could also be the fact that because she's older, with age is coming understanding, and she's becoming a bit more forgiving of Lightsong, and a bit more indulgent of Lightsong and her presence in her life, even if it is in a rival sort of way. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. And then obviously we did see them gossiping about the clan drama, which was Shivering Star accusing Hazelpelt, Quiet Flight's mate, who is the Nightstalker, of not doing his job well enough and looking after the cats well enough. Because, Shivering Star is injured with his mangled leg and he wants it to be healed really quickly, and he's lashing out because obviously that's not how recovery works. So there we go. That's something that I noticed between these cats. That aside, we don't have anything else. We don't have any whispers we need to get done. So let's just take a look at the cats, see what they're doing for the day. Grandmaster Shivering Star is thinking about new ways to care for the clan. Look at that. Look at that. Now he's thinking about new ways to care for the clan. In the past, I don't think this has been a concern of his. But because it affects him now, he's reflecting a little bit on his actions. Master Burnleaf is solving a complex problem that has been troubling the clan, probably something to do with the Shivering Star. No doubt Burnleaf has had to step up as leader for a little bit, and maybe also something to do with just the war in general, how it's getting bad, how the clan's gonna deal with it. Hazelpelt heads out of clan territory to look for new herbs. He's probably very annoyed being in camp right now as well. I think Hazelpelt would want to get away from it. He's not the type of cat who likes drama, and the clan leader is kind of pulling him into it, and he just wants to do what he knows he's supposed to do, which is look for herbs and not really be questioned for his abilities. Twilight Fade can't sleep because of the bugs and the heat. Blue Jay saw some kitty pets playing with colorful moss balls. Quiet Flight is sitting in the shade trying to hide from the heat. Lightsong found a wonderful napping spot outside camp. Sunnytail wants to critique Lightsong's fighting techniques. I feel like Sunnytail's kind of, because he's had a bit of a crush on Lightsong, I think he's probably excited that she is out of the nursery now and he can, do a bit of maybe training with her and such, interact with her a bit more. And at least this is one way that he doesn't have to feel overly insecure or concerned about coming into contact with her and admiring her for something that is not going to cross a line because he is a mentor. Owlfeather cowers in her nest during a particularly rough storm. Pinepaw play fights with Bloomkit. Oh my goodness, that is so adorable, especially because Pinepaw has a very a rough personality, but the fact that he's being kind of, I imagine, gentle with the sweet Bloomkit and play fighting with her. Aww. Fawnpaw doesn't want to go on dawn patrol. Irispaw was tasked with lighting nests with fresh moss today. Wolfkit enjoys the warmth of Greenleaf, and Bloomkit can't keep up with Twilight Fade. Aww. So I imagine that Pinepaw is play fighting with her, but she's getting distracted by what Twilight Fade is up to. And she wants to follow him, but she's so tiny, and he's not the type of cat that's gonna stop and wait for you to catch up. He just keeps going. Oh, that's so cute. She wants to follow her father, but he's kind of busy, doing his own things. I feel like Twilight Fade is very different to Hazelpelt in that, yes, he loves his kids, and we know Wolf Kid is his favorite child, but he loves his kids. However, he is more attentive to his mate than his kittens. Whereas Hazelpelt, I think, used to be more attentive to his kittens than his mate, like once they were born. Okay, now we need to check the rankings to see if anything's changed or if Pinepaw is still our star student. Yep, okay, Pinepaw is still ahead with 44 experience, Fawnpaw has 33, and Ibispaw has 27. So they have been very consistent. They've maintained these positions since like the first moon of training, pretty much. Or I should say the second moon, because the rankings come in from the second moon. But good on them. Good on them. Okay, well, let's wrap this up here and continue with patrols. Okay, we are continuing with our patrols. We currently have 180.3 prey. We need 29.5, so we don't actually have to worry about food. Let's send out Hazelpelt, our Nightstalker, first off and see what they're getting up to. Hazelpelt heads out to find a juniper tree wanting to restock on its needles. Proceed. Hazelpelt finds a healthy-looking juniper tree and collects a decent amount of needles from it with minimum fuss. As he pads home, Hazelpelt decides to climb a young oak in search of the valuable herb. So juniper and oak leaves were gathered, and now we have our patrol of 6 and a patrol of 3. So let's have a look. Let's see what the distributions are going to be this time around. And I don't know if you guys can hear, like my brother's vacuuming downstairs, but it's downstairs. Like I can hear it, but I don't know if my mic is picking up on it. Especially because we have like a whole floor between us. But I'm getting a bit concerned. Maybe okay, well now the vacuum just died off. Well, let's continue. I was gonna say maybe I should wait until he's done before I keep going, but it should be fine. I think it's fine. It's not on anymore. Okay, let's see. We're gonna have a patrol of 6 and a patrol of 3. And really the only way I can see Pinepaw's siblings getting any bit of an advantage over him is if their mentors send them out on a smaller patrol. So let's have a look. No! Oh my goodness, Sunnytail is smart, let me tell you. Sunnytail is a smart mentor because he somehow always manages to like find a way for Pinepaw to be in the patrols that's going to give him the best experience. Ah, look at that. He either keeps Pinepaw like with everyone together or he sends him out on the patrols to observe the other cats. And usually when he goes out like with the other cats, he's not being supervised either. But okay, on the big patrol, we have Fawnpaw and his mentor Burnleaf, Master Burnleaf. We have Ibispaw and her mentor and mother Quiet Flight. Then we have Sunnytail and Light Song. So Sunnytail has basically told Pinepaw that he is not going to be supervised by the other 2 cats. He basically has to keep up with them and observe Owl Feather and her mother Blue Jay to see what Pinepaw can learn from them. So let's send our patrol of 6 out and see what they get up to. The cats head out into the forested slopes, hiding from the heat of Greenleaf. Master Burnleaf leads them towards a massive, messy eagle nest. Proceed. Master Burnleaf tells the apprentices to watch carefully. Not the rowdy eagle nest, but the tiny home in its shadow. A female hummingbird climbs out and takes to the wing, headed for the mountain meadows. Fawnpaw's jaw drops as she whizzes past, nearly soundless, blindingly fast and zigzagging through the trees in a way Fawnpaw swore was impossible for birds. Look at that! Okay, so they learnt a few things, maybe observing some of the denizens of the forest that maybe they don't pay too much attention to. Okay. Or, like a forest, not forest, but like a forested part of the mountain. And then we have Pinepaw, Owlfeather, and Blue Jay, so let's see what they get up to. As the cats practice hunting in the dim light of the golden setting sun, Blue Jay is reminded of the tale of how the sunset came to be. Proceed. Pinepaw says that he's not interested in nursery tales and would rather sink his teeth into some good prey. Bluejay twitches her whiskers skeptically, but lets him go without comment. Okay, so Pinepaw over here had certain expectations. He's like, no, I'm supposed to be observing you guys hunt, and I don't really want to hear stories. I don't have time for stories. I just want to focus on the hunt. But still, I think this would have been really good for him. Really quickly, I want to check up to see our rankings. He's got 48, Fawnpaw is 35, Ibispaw is 29. So we can see Pinepaw at this rate is like so far ahead of his siblings. I don't think they'll be able to catch up. Next moon, we are going to start getting an idea of who the actual apprentice to get the title is going to be, who's going to be the best of their batch. At this point, based on the consistency, it seems as though we're going to get our first prince in Pinepaw, but I don't know. I mean, one of his siblings might finally luck out on a patrol next time around, and they'll get a leg up on him, but at this point, I highly doubt it. He's like way ahead of Fawnpaw at this point. Okay, well, that is what we managed to get done today. With that said and done, I'm going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.